Imagine this for a second. You're standing at a river's edge, almost 1,000 miles from home. The wind is soft, the water stretches out forever, but inside, your mind is just racing, totally consumed with worry for your country and its leader. Well, that was the exact spot a Korean diplomat found himself in nearly a millennium ago, and he captured it all in a short, powerful 4-line poem. So let's dive in and decode the hidden feelings at the ferry. So our poet is a man named Kim Bu-sik, a really important statesman from the Goryeo dynasty in Korea. He's on a diplomatic mission in China, and he finds himself at a ferry crossing called Imjin. The title of his poem, Imjin-yugam, basically translates to Feelings at the Imjin Ferry. So you can just picture him, looking out at this beautiful but very foreign landscape, and you can tell right away, he's got a lot on his mind.
So what exactly was he thinking? I mean, was he just feeling a little homesick, or was it something way deeper, something tied to the fate of his entire nation? That's the mystery we're going to solve right now by breaking this poem down line by line and exploring the deeper meaning behind every single character.
Okay, our first clue is actually hidden in plain sight. It's in the scenery itself. The poet starts by painting us a picture with his words, so let's take a look at how he sets the stage in the very first line. Here it is in the original hanja, which are the characters used in classical Korean literature. Now, even if you can't read them, you can just see the elegance in the strokes, right? But the real beauty is what they mean when we put them all together. Let's break these down and learn their Korean sounds. It's pretty cool. First up, we've got chu, which is pronounced chu, and it means autumn. Then we have pung, for wind. Next is su, which means water. And finally, yang, which gives you this sense of something huge and vast like an ocean. So when you put chu and pung together, you get chu-pung, autumn wind. And su and yang describe that vast water. So when we bring it all together, we get this beautiful poetic image. Autumn wind gently sways, the water endlessly flows. The poet is painting this picture of a super calm, gorgeous, expansive autumn day. Seems peaceful, right? Well, that is about to change. Let's move on to the second line and see how the mood starts to shift, because this is where the poet really starts to pull back the curtain on what's going on inside, and it's a huge contrast to the calm scenery he just described. The second line introduces this really powerful image, a long bridge. Now, bridges are supposed to connect things, right? But for our poet, this bridge seems to do the opposite. It just highlights how disconnected he feels. Let's break it down again. The first two characters, hui and shou, literally mean to turn the head. The next one is chang, pronounced jang, which means long, and this character, chao, is gyo, which means bridge. So jang-gyo is a long bridge. The simple act of looking back is what triggers this whole cascade of inner thoughts for the poem. And this just brilliantly shows the poem's sudden shift. That peaceful nature scene is now interrupted by the poet's drifting thoughts. That long bridge isn't just some structure. It's a symbol of the massive distance separating him from his home, from his duties, and most importantly, from his king. It's a symbol of his isolation. Okay, now we are getting to the absolute heart of the poem. The third line has this one single phrase that completely unlocks the true meaning of his turmoil. Let's unravel this mystery. This line expresses a deep sadness, but the crucial part, the part you have to focus on, is these two characters right here, Imjin. Now, literally, they mean beautiful person, but who is this person? And this is where it gets really fascinating. Min, that's the Korean reading for these characters, has a double meaning in classical poetry. On the surface, sure, it could be a lover or a beautiful woman he misses, but there's a much more profound, much more political meaning. It can also refer to one's king. Just look at the difference this one word makes. If he's talking about a distant lover, it's a poem about personal sadness. But if he's talking about his king, the whole thing transforms. It becomes a poem about deep, serious concern for his nation during a time of crisis. So, which one is it? Well, given the context, Kim Bu-sik was a top diplomat dealing with a really tense international situation. The beautiful person is, without a doubt, the king of Goryeo. The poet isn't just homesick, he's worried sick about his king, who is far away, isolated, and carrying the weight of the nation's safety on his shoulders. This feeling actually has a specific name in Korean, uguk-jijung. It's not just patriotism, it was this deeply personal sense of responsibility for the well-being of the nation and its ruler. And the final line, wow, it just brings all of these emotions together in one beautiful, almost heartbreaking question. It perfectly captures his feelings of duty, loyalty, and ultimately his solitude.
He ends the poem by asking a question, not by making a statement. And this choice just leaves us with this lingering sense of his deep, quiet contemplation.
Let's look at the key characters here. We have jiang for river and lan for orchid. Now, in East Asian culture, the orchid is a huge deal. It's a powerful symbol of integrity and loyalty, especially for a scholar or an official. It represents a person who maintains their principles, even when nobody's watching. And then we have sui for who, and xiang for fragrance.
The orchid by the river, that's the poet himself. He's this loyal subject full of integrity. Its fragrance represents his virtue and his dedicated service to his country. But he asks, who is this fragrance for? He's so far from his king that he feels like his loyalty, all his hard work, it might be going completely unnoticed. It's just a powerful expression of a public servant's lonely sense of duty.
So, after decoding this 900-year-old message in a bottle, what can we take away from it today? What can a diplomat's worries from the 12th century possibly teach us about our own lives?
Well, the poem actually offers a few timeless lessons. It reminds us of the immense pressure and the deep isolation that can come with leadership. More personally, it speaks to the very nature of integrity, that like an orchid's scent, our character and our principles have real value even when no one is around to notice. And, ultimately, it's a call for empathy, for trying to understand the hidden burdens that other people might be carrying, even those in positions of power.
And that leaves us with one final question to think about. What is the virtue, the talent, the dedication, the fragrant orchid in your own life? And as you cultivate it, who is its fragrance for? Is it for you, for others, or is it simply for the integrity of its own existence? Something to think about.